Alright, what's up everybody? I'm back, and in this video I've got a special treat for you guys. This is one of the most requested boats that I've been asked on my channel to review, and it took me a minute, but I finally got my hands on it. Big shout out to the guys at Zet Kayaks USA for hooking me up with one of the new Zet Kayaks Chili. This boat, and for you guys that don't know, so yeah, if you want to, go give Zet Kayaks USA a look over. You'll see how to order one of these, how to get one. They've got several distributions throughout the US now, so it's not that hard to find one if you really want one. And the containers, you know, they do come from the Czech Republic, so the containers will vary. I'll let you guys figure that out. But yeah, but onto the boat. This boat, for everyone who doesn't know, this boat is the Zet Kayak Chili. And what the Chili is, it's Zet Kayaks' first try at the play boating / half slice market. And for any of you guys, if you see my channel, if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I love the half slices. The Antics 2.0, the Rewind, the Rippers, the original Antics, you know, I really like the half slice. So I'm excited to give this one a whirl. I can't wait to get this thing on the water. I just want to give you guys a quick walkthrough video because there's not really much out there on it. So I'm just going to kind of show you guys the hull, the outfitting, how it kind of breaks down. And this is more in-depth than what you probably would see, you know, anywhere else. So what this boat's going to be, to me, it looks like a throwback on the slalom style half slice, not the aggressive half slices, not the more modern half slices like the Antics 2.0, the Rewind, the Ripper, which is more of a modern half slice. This one looks to me to be more old school meets new school. Surprisingly, what it reminded me the most was a Necky. Necky was a company a few years back, and very aggressive, very fun to paddle. The Necky boats were a blast to paddle, and this boat kind of reminds me of the Necky. Right away, one thing that surprised me was how narrow the front is. There's not a lot of knee room. The deck area is very low on it, so I think you guys are going to be surprised if you think you're getting in a bigger boat. This is closer to, I would say, the Party Brap. To me, it reminds me, for sizing wise, similar to the Party Brap. So if you guys are too big for the Party Brap, you're probably too big for this. This is what I would call a small medium. You know, not a medium large, not a true medium, a small medium. I think the Ripper to me is a true medium. The Steez would be like a medium large, a medium huge. But and the Rewind's like a true medium. This feels like and the Antics is a small medium to me too also. This one feels like a small medium. I don't know if they're going to do a bigger size. They might do a bigger size. The sizing on this is 8'11", and I think around about 62 gallons of volume. I'll throw the specs up so you guys can check that out. And I think paddler weight was like 110 to like 190, which isn't a broad range. I fall in about 175, 180, so I fall kind of on the heavy side actually on this boat. But looking at it, I can look at it and tell you that it's probably going to be a very fun ride for me anyway. I'll go ahead and I'll kind of start from the back and work my way up. I'm going to do a walkthrough on the boat. One thing you're going to see, this boat does not have a drain plug. So, you know, I don't know if I would recommend to Zet not doing a drain plug, but if you're not going to do a drain plug, you need to put some drainage ports in your cockpit rim. There are no drainage ports in your cockpit rim. That helps with draining. If you mold in a drain plug, a lot of times the drain plugs will bridge off to the hull, so you'll have a solid drain plug in there. And that's one reason I think Piranha still uses that screw-in type drain plug. You can have a screw-in type drain plug, but it is very thin. If you look right here, this is a very thin profile, so that drain plug would have to be mounted as high as there just to get an area where it won't bridge off. The Rewind done it, so the Rewind's got it about right here, which is probably enough volume in there to open that area up so your drain plug doesn't bridge off. I think they might want to reconsider not putting a drain plug in it, but it is what it is. These handles are different. So, surprisingly, Zet went with a whole new handle. These handles are a type of diamond pattern that's looks really cool. It looks awesome. I really like the looks of that. And they have this diamond pattern on inside their cutout, which has a futuristic look. And another thing, I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but they've actually put this diamond pattern throughout the hull from about here through here. You can kind of hear it's this diamond pattern, which, is that not cool? I like that. It's basically, you know, it's stenciled in. Maybe you can see it in it. That looks awesome. It starts right here and goes down and down. That's really cool. So the graphic, you know, that Chili, which is kind of a cool name. I like the name Chili. I kind of like that. This is a 3D printed. This is 3D printed right here. So obviously this is not what's going to be on the boat. Or at least I hope that's not what's going to be on the boat. That's going to be out of metal. This is kind of cool. I like how they did this. You know. It's more like aesthetic to kind of throw that off. Not a lot of volume back here. They didn't do a lot of volume. Nice graphic here too. I like that graphic. I like seeing nice mold-in graphics. Those look nice. It's slightly rounded right here, so it has a slight bubble to it. It's not a flat profile back there. There's not a big hump back here like on the Antics where it gives it a little more balance. And I think you can get away with that because of your length of your stern. It's got a long stern on it, so I don't think you need that volume right here for holding. This thing's going to be, it basically caters to quick stern turns and not so much splats and stern squirts. I can already tell you this thing's going to be a sweet ride for those quick stern turns in and out of eddies, like turn and burn type go. Back band, now this is where they've actually changed up again. So I never was that big of a fan of shoestrings for my back band, but I used Jacksons for a while. I used a bunch of Jackson model boats, and they started to grow on me. I still love ratchets. I love how ratchets have that, like, really, I don't know, more of that clicky feeling. You just kind of click it into place and you forget about it. I'm not a big fan of like pulling cords and all this crap, but I get it. One thing that what they've done, they've drilled a hole in the seat. So they drilled a hole in the seat and they're tying the back band off. And I can tell you right now, if the guys at Zet are listening, you need to put some sort of brace, like some sort of metal washer or some sort of grommet or something on the back of that. That will pull through. That is going to pull right through, and you're going to have a lot of warranty issues with that pulling through. So they just tied a knot in it. I felt back here, and all they do is have a knot in it. I would suggest putting either like a large fender. There is an insert there, so they can't go too large, but they could put some sort of something metal with a hole through it, just enough to add that, because I can pull on it, and I'm very hard on back bands, and I will pull that directly out of there. So that's one problem I see already for Zet they need to address right away. The back band's similar to what you would see like in a Jackson boat. It has this ring here. It goes around. The cord comes out of the seat, goes up, goes through the rim, comes out here. And what they've done, instead of using like an anchor type cleat that Jackson uses, they've used, it looks like they've 3D printed their own mechanism. So it's basically a little capture mechanism that I'm sure is going to be out of injected molded plastic. So I'm sure they're just working on getting, these are 3D printed right now, and it looks like they're just set down in there somehow. They pop them down in, they drill out a hole and they set that down. It's not screwed, it's pressure fitted down in there. So that makes me curious if those things fall out, you're kind of screwed. So I'm really curious how they're going to do that. This one did good, but this one started to wear and it's slipping. So I tied a knot in it. Now these are 3D printed, so I'm not going to judge them too much on that, but I'd really like to see how the finished product turns out on that. You're going to have to tie a knot in one, which is something similar I did to the Jackson too. I tied a knot in it, and then I would tighten up one side and get it a lot tighter, and then it wouldn't slip as much. So yeah, back to the seat. Seat is the same Zet seat that they've always used. The hip pads, these are not the hip pads. These are just some quick hip pads for the demo. It will be similar to what you see to the hip pads in the Cross, the 5s and all that. They did do something different because this is a narrow rim. They've they're not utilizing that, but they're going to similar to Waka, and they're having that adjustment with one hole adjustment. I still seriously don't think you need to have these hole top adjustments. I think a slot would work just as good. I don't know, maybe they've tested it and they would disagree with me on that, but I'm a fan of having that slot tighten up right there. I would do some sort of capture washer that maybe bites into it a little better, and then put a slot before I would leave that longer. But that's just me. I don't know. I'm very picky on outfitting. But yeah, the seat, you know, it's basically the same seat that's in the other Zet boats. They did get away with the thigh braces, so they've done these style of thigh braces right here that are the mold in style thigh braces, which is from Zet. You know, I don't know how, they've added a lot of structure to this rim. This rim has a lot of structure to it. I'm really curious. They have a lot, like it's super stiff. So I did have to go under here and pad out under there, as you can see, and you can see the bulkheads, basically the standard bulkhead. It will be a smaller bulkhead. I think that's like a bulkhead out of one of their other boats, maybe the V-Lock or something like that. So that's one of their bulkheads in there. It's a 2 standard bulkhead. It's an adjustable seat along that. They did away with all of this up here. I really like that. I hope that's in the production model. I liked having that water bottle holder, throw up holder right here. They still have that. That's always a cool thing to have. Like I said, and the ropes, I'm sure they've tested it, so we'll see how that turns out. But it worked pretty damn good. I thought it worked just from setting it. Once again, you can get back to the back deck and look at something they've done back there. I don't know if you guys can see back there, but they've actually added foam to the back of this boat, and that's to add rigid. So they've added foam. This is all foamed out all the way across, because you're only going to store so much right here anyway. They've actually got foam from here back to about right here, and it adds, you know, some structure to this area right here. Maybe it's something with their shaping, I don't know, but we'll see. Going on to the bow, one thing in the bow, so moving on to the bow, looking at it, you know, it goes down very narrow. This bow goes down and has a very narrow taper to it. That's what gives it to me that more classic. It has a very classic necky style look. Not a lot of rocker in the front, but it comes down to a nice point, but it's flat right here. So I love how that kind of tapers down right there. Very interesting, very good looking boat. And that's just the deck. And once again, you know, we've got that kind of futuristic handle and all that. So yeah, knee heights are not very high, so it doesn't have a high knee hump in it. It goes, a lot of boats go back and then taper right here. This actually goes up and tapers in the front. It actually tapers in the front, goes wide, and then stays wide all the way back to right here. And right here it starts tapering in, which is, I mean, I'm interested in how this is going to paddle. And if it paddles like any other necky boats see, there I go, I'm thinking it's a necky boat. If it paddles like any other Zet boats that I've paddled, I've been very impressed with the performance of Zet. Zet Kayaks is kind of like, you know, the underrated, you know, player in the market right now. I've been very impressed with their build quality, their plastic, their design philosophy. It's been very impressive to me. So good job on that. They do have a different rim profile. So this rim profile is really high. It's a very high, like it's stacked high, but it's not got a wide coaming on it. The coaming is only about that much, ½ inch maybe, which is kind of concerning. I love to see a solid inch on a coaming. This is a very tiny cockpit coaming, which I don't know, maybe they've tested it. Maybe you don't need a 1-inch cockpit. I like being able to stick my skirt like all the way up under a cockpit coaming. On this coaming, you know, it's not going to be as, so will it be more prone to implosion? I don't know, maybe not. We'll see. Onto the sidewall. The sidewall is very flat. It's got a very flat, there's not much curvature. Like, it doesn't curve until you get about where the hip is. And here's where this thing curves over at right here. It's a very flat profile here. And then it's got a hard, like it's flat, all the way to about right here. I don't know if you, yeah, there we go. flat to about right here, and then it starts flattening out, and then it starts curving over. So yeah, that's the sidewall. I'll go ahead and flip it over and we'll look at the hull. Now look at this hull. Look at how flat this thing is. This thing is so freaking flat. Look at that. It is so flat right here, and the edges, it's like got a small amount of kick rocker that starts about right here and kicks up sharply. It's very flat in this area, so that will give it that ability to scream out of drops right there. But this edge goes right here. It's very smooth to right here, and then the edge picks up, and it is a hard 90-degree edge that just runs all down. I'm thinking this boat is going to go beautiful when it's on its sidewall right here. It's just going to carve the river up. So that's very, it's not a very aggressive edge compared to like the Ripper. I love the Ripper style edges. The Ripper has this beautiful edge where I can really zoom in and out of eddies, zoom around the river. This looks more like a classic style boat that has that classic style edge. I'm not putting my finger on it, but you guys leave in the comments below what you think this edge looks like to you, because to me it reminds me of some of the old Necky boats, and I'd really like to hear you guys comment on what you've seen that looks familiar to this, that where you've seen this right here. So yeah, there's a very aggressive edge on this thing, and I'm really curious how that's going to paddle. It's a super flat hull, so maybe it'll spin on a dime. I don't know. You guys, I'll have an on-water review coming on this thing. That's pretty much, I don't know what, and okay, back here it's got a slight, in the tail, it's slightly rounded, like right here it's slightly rounded. This tapers very aggressively in, so I think that's going to help it and initiate the stern squirts nicely. Rounded area right here. So we'll see. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the hull. I think I've went over enough on like how the hull is. Let's see. I talked about the tail. I talked about the bow. All right. Well, that's all that's all I have today for you guys. Very good looking boat. I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough and first impressions of the boat before I get on. I will have an on-water review coming, so you guys keep your eye out for that. I will have that video up soon. I appreciate it. Once again, big shout out to Zet Kayaks USA for hooking me up with this. I appreciate those guys, and I'm going to give it a whirl and see how it paddles. So yeah, I look forward to getting this thing on the river soon. So yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Look how flat. That has got to be, you know, that, well, I'm not going to say that because that'll get me in trouble, but it's pretty damn flat. That is very flat. Flatter than a pancake. There you go. Thanks a lot.